So my father's like, De Niro called me, wants me on set. How much does that pay? Like my dad was looking for a check.
No way.
I go, Dad.
Hell yeah, what a hustler.
You're working with Robert De Niro.
That's your payment.
He goes, yeah, but I gotta take off work. And if I take off work, I'm gonna lose money. So, how much?
Hey, you. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Just a little bit closer. Subscribe to the channel now.
How you doing, man?
Good. Is this a new studio?
Yes, it is. Actually, this is a whole new building. So, last time you were with us, right? Or maybe was he here? I think it was the old building. We had you in our previous studio, I think, and then we used to be next door, and now we're here. So,
Nice.
moving on up, moving on up.
Looks good.
I mean, I feel like since the last time we did talk, you've been moving on up. Business has been good the last few years.
It has, but I'm always worried. Business might not be as good as previous years.
Are you still at this level? You're still a little concerned?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like if I'm not concerned, I feel like if I'm not worrying, then there's a problem.
Do you think that is your personality, though, or do you think that's a valid, like, I get what you mean about, like, you can't get complacent, you shouldn't rest on your laurels, but I would say a man of your success, a man of your level, you can relax that, like, you're pretty good.
No. I
love it.
I have no, listen, I always write material. I always very serious about what I do. I'm just saying, how long could you remain at this level? There's got to be like a dip off.
Yeah. Right, like at some point you're coming back down.
Yeah,
and you might still be near the top, but it's on the
Yeah. So that's it. I listen, guys. I live in the negative.
Yeah, my man. I'm right there. We're riding together, dude. Some people think of that as probably obnoxious and abrasive and a bad way to live. But I'll tell you, man, I think the people who live in the positive, those rise and grinders, like we're gonna, God gave us another day and we're so lucky and I love that. It's like, shut up.
You hear a lot of like gratitude, this and that. I don't know. I wake up and it's like doomsday.
Man, did that was that always your life, or did you hit an age?
No, it's. I think it's my family. Listen, we've always had a really nice, fun-loving, had a sense of humor with the family, but it was either we were laughing or we were crying.
Yeah.
There's no really great gray areas. So
I always think of when you're talking about when you wake up, like I don't know if it's from him, but I feel like The Rock kind of made it famous where like when your feet hit the floor in the morning, make sure the devil goes, uh-oh, he's up. Yeah. And I just think every morning I wake up because I have a mirror right by my bed. So like I sling my legs out the bed and I see myself and I'm just like, this is not how Dwayne Johnson does it. Like,
the devil doesn't give a fuck.
Like, I sit there and I'm just like, all right, here we go. Time to do this again.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you have a mirror right there? Is it specifically planted there so you could see yourself, or it just happens to be that's where you put it, and now you're seeing yourself?
If I know my guy, that's a mirror that's just been like laid up against the wall that he hasn't hung. And he just,
Sebastian, Kevin, it's a mirror a woman put there about 4 years ago. She doesn't live there anymore.
That's the other possibility.
It's just like, I don't know. I think it's where she got dressed, and now it's just where I see in the morning.
Which I can't imagine you getting up in the morning. So if you don't know his, you don't know his sleep habits the way this audience does, he eats in bed all the time.
He's eating in bed,
talking ice cream and cookies. Like he has sheets with pockets on the side so he can reach in and grab a treat. He'll often fall asleep with ice cream that melts. So you got to imagine this gentleman waking up. He also wears underwear that's too small for him. Wakes up in the morning, throws his feet over. He's probably scratching. He's got chocolate ice cream on him. And he looks in the mirror and he goes, this is what The Rock does.
Well, no wonder you are not taking The Rock seriously. You're waking up with crumbs on your chest.
You might actually, like, you guys could potentially be polar opposite on the spectrum when it comes to that sort of, like, if you lived a life in his shoes, you did a Freaky Friday thing, I think you'd jump off a bridge.
Dude, this morning I actually have cleaning people come into my apartment, and I had it wasn't a Kind bar, but it's one of that ilk, that kind of bar where you take one bite and it just falls apart and disintegrates everywhere. And I had one of those in bed last night, and I was leaving my apartment, and I saw my bed, and I was like, I knew cleaning people were coming today, and I was just like, that's too many crumbs for the cleaning people to see. So I took all my sheets off my bed, threw them in the wash. I was like, this is embarrassing.
The shame got you.
I can't see the cleaning people. Have the cleaning people see I live like this.
Wow, man.
That's, yeah, I mean, I got to imagine that's a no-fly for you.
No, I mean, there's no food or there's a bottle of water on the bedside table, but other than having a full meal in bed, I think that's where we draw the line.
Well, what do you think would be your, just being a very particular guy and you're very always put together, sharp, clean, smooth. What would be like your nightmare? Would it be like not being able to brush your teeth or not being able to do your hair? Like, what's like the worst thing for you?
You know what? Talking about hair, it's interesting. Do you wash your hair every day?
No.
Well, no, you don't.
Brother, this guy once a month maybe.
Once a month on the hair?
It's gotten a little more. It used to be like that. I'm probably bi-weekly.
Well, they do say when we started to care a little bit more about our appearance, despite the stories we're telling, we're getting our hair cut from this place, and we're hearing about how you actually should leave the oils in and not wash it every day. So I think he took that and ran with it. I wash it every day.
I learned it at a very young age, not very young age, but as in high school, and I had a buddy who had great hair, and I was like, what do you do? He's like, I just don't do anything.
If I don't,
I started doing that.
You can tell. Like if I don't shower, put on deodorant, and comb my hair, I stink. My armpits are gross, and my hair looks greasy. So I do it every day, and I might be stripping it of the natural oils and all that, but I clean it every day.
All right, that's what I've heard. I've heard this recently about the showering, because I used to wash my hair every day too.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, let me go a week and see if there's any difference.
Really? So now you're on the no wash train.
I'm on the no wash train, but I'm not really seeing a
one way or the
look
other.
at the oils dripping off my forehead.
That's true. I wouldn't say if I am washing with regularity. I don't think I'm like, oh, this is impossible to manage. It's kind of it's just my routine. But I wouldn't say I've gone through times where I'm like, oh, I did it 3 times this week, and I'm not like, oh, it's different now.
Don't you guys put like hair product in your hair?
Yeah,
I guess the water is enough to wash that out.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're like that's caking up.
Yeah.
So you just give it a little rinse and you're done.
Yeah. Listen. I don't know if your fan base here is into hygiene and hair washing, but if you need to know what I do is if I'm not using shampoo, it's a vigorous rub, right? To massage the scalp, and then a pat dry and go. I'm losing hair talking to you guys.
Are you fighting the fight? Are you?
I had a hair transplant about 5-6 years ago, just up here in the front, which I'm noticing those hairs are staying and the others are falling out.
Yeah.
So they took it from the back, and put it up here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That almost feels like less. First of all, I don't care. Get your surgeries, get whatever to make yourself look better. I'm all about it. But when you're taking your own hair and just moving it, it's like I'm not cheating. That's just rearranging.
Rearranging the furniture.
I didn't steal anybody's furniture. I'm just moving mine around. That's great.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I've never done I haven't done the plugs of the surgery, but I've been on the Propecia for a minute. When I found out, my grandfather, my mom's dad, who I think they say is what you're supposed to have hair-wise, had hair until the day he died. And my parents always told me that, and they said we look alike. So I was just like, I'm always going to have hair. And then I was like 28, 29, something like that. And I took a picture. I also never thought about any of this shit, but then we started to do this, and I posted a picture, and the comments were just like, oh, my God, say goodbye to that hair. Your hair is running away. And I looked, and I was getting the power alleys. So I was like, okay. And then, people were like, you can't, those might affect your libido and your dick and your bed. And I was like, I don't care, bro. If I don't have this, none of that other stuff's going to happen. So one step at a time. So I started to do that, and it worked out well for me. But the day that I debate on the day that it becomes a problem doing the surgery or just.
Well, how long you been on the Propecia?
A while now.
Okay, so I was on Propecia. This was
probably like 8 years now.
Okay,
but I also sometimes I forget, and it kind of comes and goes. But
I had a problem. Slight pain in my left nut on Propecia.
No way.
Yeah.
Persistent, like always there?
Yeah.
And when you stopped, it went away, so you could
Gone.
tell it was that.
Yeah.
Just like a ache?
Yeah, it's like a pain you're not supposed to be feeling down there.
Huh.
And I attribute it to the Propecia. Of course, no doctor.
No. You attribute it to that. Yeah, nobody else.
You want to check this out? I go, no, I think it's the Propecia. And I stopped taking it, and then that pain went away.
Well,
I mean,
that's all. You don't need a doctor to tell you
It's my own self-diagnosis.
Whenever I have any pain down there, I'm like, I probably just need to come. It's like turning something off and on again. If you have the Propecia just master, I'm like, I gotta get rid of this pain in my left nut.
Dude, this new movie, Bookie.
New show,
Sorry,
Yeah.
looks very, very cool.
Well, thanks. I mean, this is a show that was pitched to me by Chuck Lorre and Nick Bakay, who wanted to dive in the world of a bookie, kind of navigating the waters of legalized gambling.
Very timely, very apropos.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, I'd never really seen this kind of show on TV, and it's a comedy. It's kind of like a buddy comedy. Me and Omar Dorsey, he plays my muscle or my visual deterrent, if you will, and it was great. It was really cool, and I don't gamble a lot. I used to gamble in Las Vegas, not on sports, just
Table games.
blackjacks and whatnot. But the world of being a bookie and the clients and how that all works, and when you go collect money and when you give the guy a little bit of breathing room, it was interesting to find out. You know,
there's being a bookie, and then there's like being a bookie, because it's like you know, it's almost like a visual deterrent, like you said. It's like, I really, really, really hope this guy pays up, because I don't want to actually kneecap him. I don't actually want to threaten his family or whatever crazy shit you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine there was some, you know, bookies out there doing small-time stuff where you could have got away with murder, just being like, I'm not going to pay you. So you maybe played blackjack and all that stuff, and maybe didn't bet on sports, but I just feel like your life, your upbringing, I feel like you were around that a little bit.
You know, you would think that I
Yeah.
was like around this world of like, we're playing craps on a sidewalk,
Yeah,
and then
running
taking
numbers and all that
bets
sort
on
of
the
shit.
Eagles. I grew up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago in a middle class neighborhood where we played hide and seek.
Okay. I get it.
I wasn't Cologino, for Broxdale. So yeah, I didn't really grow up around it. I saw it a lot in college. I saw a lot of gambling going on in college, which is kind of my first introduction to that whole scene. And then, periodically throughout my life, I've known people that used bookies, but I've never called a bookie and said, I've placed bets through my friend's bookie. But I never had a guy that I was like in with.
Connected.
There's a lot of storylines that happen with, people and their lot in life and how they're gambling. This show also centers around, I'm also a family guy. I'm married. I have a stepson. I'm working.
Double life sort of thing.
I'm working through that. So sometimes you just think of a bookie in a dark room with a lot of cigarettes, counting money. Well, in this show, we kind of show the other side of like, he's got to go home to a wife. He's got to go to school to drop his kid off,
sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is such a weird thing. It's almost like when you're a child and you see like the teacher out, that kind of stereotype where you're like, oh yeah, they have a life. They're they're a regular person.
Yeah.
And particularly someone
you
in
run
that
into your
line
bookie
of
at the
work.
grocery store.
Yeah. With this show, I'm kind of interested to talk to you because I have a question. You're so prolific. You do so many things, and we try and do different things. We have a radio show, we have KFC Radio, sketch show. We all like. How do you separate your time from stand up to TV to movies? Like, is there any part of you where you're like, okay, this aspect of the day is for this, or you kind of just like whatever comes to my head that's what I'm doing?
Yeah, so for me, I don't really compartmentalize my time for these certain projects. When I'm doing a TV show, I'm doing a TV show. Yeah. I'm not doing real stand-up.
So you won't even consider writing stand-up during that?
Well, no, I don't even write stand-up. It's like storytelling. Like something will happen to me when I take my kids to Universal Studios, and that becomes a story I tell on stage.
You gotta or you just rip it off the top of your head. You gotta write down, craft it a little bit, like
whatever happens to you today.
Mm-hmm.
in a general day. Say you call your wife or your mother or whatever. What'd you do today? And then there's like a storytelling between the person that you're talking to. I happen to just have the ability to tell the story from a point of view that has humor inserted into the story. So when I go on stage and work those bits out or those stories out, and I record them, and then I just over and over tell the story again, that's kind of how my writing process works. So I don't really. I do a movie. I'm concentrated on the movie and the lines. Lines is a big deal for me because I don't know how to memorize lines without literally reading the thing over and over again. Some people get the script, they read it a few times. Okay, let's go. I go, let's go. I got to go away for 3 weeks in a dark room and read this. So, and now I got 2 small kids, 6 and 4. I'm trying to, because I don't want to be a guy looking back going, what the hell was I doing in Montana on a Tuesday night performing while my daughter was doing a recital? I don't want to be that guy. Yeah, you got to work, right? You got to make a living, but you also have to spend a lot of time with your family, I believe, because those moments, they go by like this. I got a 6-year-old daughter. I looking back at when she was 2 going, when was that? And if you don't stop and smell the roses, in my opinion, then you're kind of missing out. Yeah, what's it all for? What are we doing?
Yeah.
So, by the way, I just want to note one thing real quick. It wasn't lost on me.
Your mother. I saw it too. You call your wife, you call your mother.
I call my wife and my mother.
This guy's got crumbs in his bed. Your mother?
Yeah, I just assumed if you're eating ice cream and waking up with mint chocolate chip on your nipples, you're not really locked in a relationship.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was like, that was for real. That's fucking great, man.
There's no shot this guy's got a woman who loves him. The one who has to.
Well, you did say you had a girl who put the mirror there.
Yeah, I did.
So that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, she's gone.
Yeah.
Man, that's man. That is interesting though, because like we do wear a lot of different hats here, and sometimes I think like I hear stories about if somebody writes a book, they go disappear for a year to write a book, and we can't really do that per se. It's like we got to do this show every day to pay the bill, not every day, but every week to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you want to go do a sketch show properly, you want to write a book, you want to do whatever, you almost have to not be doing that other thing every single day if you want to dive into it. But it's not as realistic for us as. But I like when you were on the road every day, night, week, whatever, to make money, you couldn't really take off to go do it, or would you? Like if you got offered a movie or a show, then like you said, even in the early days, you would stop doing and just dive in fully.
I didn't get offered anything when I was doing stand-up comedy, so there was really I didn't have any alternative to go to a comedy club, make $1,000 a week, whatever they paid,
right?
And that was that. If I did get a movie or TV show, it was going to pay $1,000. It was going to pay me more than $1,000 anyway, so I would definitely take that opportunity. But I didn't get a lot of opportunities when I was, coming up through the ranks of stand-up comedy.
What was your first movie?
First movie I ever did, jeez.
Were you trying to become an actor, or they just start to fall in your lap because people were like this guy?
I went on auditions.
Funny and animated. Okay, so you were auditioning.
And I was auditioning, but the audition process for me was quite painful. It wasn't good. I rarely booked anything on an audition.
You got in there, I don't know the lines.
I go, I didn't study.
Tell you a story about my mom, though.
But it was not until later on in life that I was put in rooms that, and auditioning is all about confidence, right? Yeah. I had no confidence going into these rooms.
Yeah.
But when I had some success in stand-up, people that I was auditioning for were a fan of what I was doing outside of the room.
Sure.
So I felt confident.
So now they're like, looking at you like he's the star.
Yeah, so I felt a little bit more of, I had an upper hand in that way. But yeah, I didn't get a lot of movies or TV roles until later on in my career.
The Irishman was, I feel like, the big one where you were like, oh shit, Sebastian's in movies now.
That's the biggest movie that I had ever done at that particular time. I mean, it was only a 5-day or 6-day work.
It's a cool role.
Yeah, but it was cool. Like I didn't even audition for that role. The audition happened here in New York. Short story. They called me and said, do you want to go to New York and audition in the room, or do you want to send in a tape from L.A.? I said, I'm going to New York.
Yeah, totally.
I want to be in the room. I get in the room, and I start to fall apart. I'm sweating.
That would be me.
My mouth goes completely dry, and they keep working with me. And when they keep working with you, it means they know there's potential. When are you going to
clean it up?
Show us.
Yeah.
So half an hour I'm in there. I'm like, this is
that's a long time.
It was bad. It was really
Because
bad.
to me, once that starts, it doesn't stop unless I get to like stop, take a break, drink of water, calm down. But I'm not gonna get through it in the moment.
You're right.
So you really gotta like power through.
Yeah, it's definitely snowballs. And this is what they told me when I first came in. They're like, listen, Martin Scorsese really likes you. And this is, just kind of like a format. Now, if you tell me something positive, I'm going to screw it up. If they said, you got to really work for this role, Marty doesn't really even know you, then I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to show him.
Yeah.
So I walk out of there, call my agent, I go, bad news, you're going to get a bad report. This didn't go well. And sure enough, he calls me. He's like, yeah, they said you're very inconsistent. They had no confidence in your ability to hold your own with Robert De Niro.
It's a pretty fucking high bar, by the way. Yeah, correct.
By the way,
Yeah.
Fucking A.
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
So they said, if you want to redo it, they'll be happy to see one on tape if you want to send it in. So I called my acting coach. I go, we got to put a tape together. Let's send it in. So I sent it in. That one was really good. And he gave me the Crazy Joe Gallo role from that audition. I didn't even audition for that particular role, but I guess he saw what I did and gave me that role. But it was still anxiety. The first day I'm with Pesci and De Niro and Scorsese on the set. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Great. I mean, that's the lineup of all lineups. To just walk in on that. That's,
Did you get to call the people who you casted for it, and you're like, you wouldn't know how I was gonna do with De Niro on set? Send them the whole fucking about my father.
Oh, I didn't understand the question.
So I was saying at one point in the future in your career, you were like, you don't know how I hold my own.
I mean, you ended up doing a movie with De
yeah.
Niro. Was did that develop after, like, when you did The Irishman? Did you click with De Niro?
No.
It
It wasn't like. It's not like we were like, cut. We doing tonight?
Yeah.
It was none of that. It was like, cut.
Right.
He went to his thing, and I, stayed in my section.
Yeah.
There was no real like socializing whatsoever. And people ask me, oh, did you call him up and ask him to play your dad in About My Father? I was like, no, I didn't even have the guy's number. A producer got him the script, and he enjoyed the script, and he actually came to see me at Radio City Music Hall after we did The Irishman. So there was a bit of a relationship there.
I mean, I'd say that's a pretty
yeah, I mean, listen, but
respect.
There was no like. There was no phone calls, nothing like that.
That's. Did you know that he was in the audience that night?
Yeah,
that's got to be a little bit.
I mean,
elevated.
It's a guy I grew up with having posters on my wall,
and he's there watching you tonight.
He's at my show. It's a bit surreal, and then he's playing my father, and on top of that, my father is coaching him on set
how to be mean.
No way. Because he wanted him there. So my father's like, De Niro called me, wants me on set. How much does that pay? Like my dad was looking for a check.
No way.
I go, Dad.
Hell yeah, what a hustler.
You're working with Robert De Niro.
That's your payment.
He goes, yeah, but I gotta take off work. And if I take off work, I'm gonna lose money. So how much?
That's unbelievable.
So yeah, my dad was looking for a salary.
And then,
I respect the hell out of that. Like,
Robbie
wants me there.
Worth,
how
man.
much he writing the check for? That's fucking unreal.
And then on set, would you run a line, you do a scene. Would he be like, "That's not right. No. This is how I do it." Is he barking out orders to De Niro?
There was none of
because that'd be crazy.
There's one point where I had to cry in the movie, right? So I go to this. We're on a tarmac airplane. He comes off the airplane, and I kind of like profess my love to my father. Now, I was pining this the whole time I was on set because I'm like, I gotta cry. I've never really cried. I'm a sensitive guy, but I've never cried on a movie. Yeah. So we do two scenes. I ain't crying, right? He's crying, and I'm looking at him in the scene going, this guy's crying. on cue. Like I was like a fan watching him. And then I finally asked him, I go, I'm having problems here, man. Could you help me out? He takes me aside and he tells me his process. He's like, you know what I do is I think of my son, because my son is your age. He starts crying talking about his son. And I start crying. And I go, I got to use this. Let me use this. So I come into the scene crying. I wasn't supposed to come into the scene crying, but I was just using it as momentum. So I learned a lot from him, just being around him and what he was kind of teaching me throughout the whole process. But yeah, I mean, it gave me a lot of confidence moving forward to do a show like Bookie, because now I feel like you
did hang with De Niro.
I hung with De Niro for 8 weeks on a set, and it gave me confidence moving forward that, I do have some ability here.
Yeah.
I'm by no means a seasoned actor. I'm still working on it, and it's still difficult for me, but I enjoy doing it.
I mean, with Bookie, like, I was asking you earlier how you split time and how you decide on things like that, but when Chuck Lorre calls, you have to be like, yep, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I had to be interested in the show that he was pitching me, and I just don't do anything just because somebody's behind it. That's really, if Chuck pitched me a story about me being a school teacher in Nebraska, maybe I'm like, nah, I'm no interested. But when he said Bookie, gambling, comedy, I was like, oh wow, that's something I would love to explore.
So that doesn't have that much influence. I wondered, like, when someone who calls, like obviously a Scorsese, Chuck Lorre, they're like, it's going to be a hit. But even if you know it's going to be a hit, you're still, if you're not,
I gotta love it.
Material.
Yeah, I gotta love the content. I gotta love the idea, the material. I can't, like the Joe Gallo thing. I just thought the Irishman was just a cool kind of crime, mafia movie that I thought, that's interesting. Like Green Book, I was in Green Book for a little bit. I thought the story was really cool. Yeah. So I have to be, some of these actors, I really give it to them because they might not have that opportunity to kind of pick and choose what they want to do. They got a job, they're going to do it.
Right.
Thank God I do stand-up, because stand-up kind of allows me to do the projects that I really feel passionate about.
You don't need it. It's like,
I don't really need it. I don't really do it. I want to do it.
Yeah.
How much does network or studio matter? Does that, obviously all these things matter at some level, but it's really just about material.
Yeah, I don't really even pay attention to, okay, who's this going to be with? Because these shows, you never know. Hulu show could take off, Amazon could take off.
Yeah, there really is no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, there's not really no rhyme or reason. At least for me, I don't know. Maybe I don't know the inner workings of streaming or whatnot, but I feel like...
I don't think anyone does, including...
All fucking
But in Bookie, you have a co-star who I actually haven't seen from in a while, but Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
That's a big one, man.
Yeah.
What's
Charlie Sheen?
So they reunite. Chuck Lorre and Charlie Sheen reunite on this show.
Fuck, I didn't even think about
that. So 2.5 Men with the tiger blood and whatever.
Yeah.
That whole thing, which happened, I don't know, years ago.
That was wild. From our point of view as bloggers and, like, dealing with the entertainment world, when all those quotes were coming out, we were like, holy fucking shit.
Kept the company afloat. T-shirts that said winning.
we sold the T-shirt and said winning
really?
His face, and it like allowed us to keep the lights on.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, he was a nice guy. I've never met him prior to this show. I met him on set. He came on set, and he was nothing but professional and kind of quiet, very shy, humble guy. And he's in 2 episodes, and he plays himself. And
cool.
He plays himself.
Yeah, and Chuck and him, reunite together on the show.
Are you his Bookie in the show?
I'm his Bookie, yeah. I go collect.
And that's great.
And he's running a card game out of a rehab facility. He's not at the rehab. He's just running it out of the rehab facility.
Great.
We got to go collect. Hilarious. This is the first episode. Yeah, we go collect money from Charlie Sheen, and then he pops up later. Again, I'm not going to give away what happens, but I thought it was well done.
That's awesome. I didn't realize it was like that, playing himself. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the biggest travesty in the world is that you not getting the voice of Mario.
I auditioned.
I know. Yeah, and I remember when I started to hear rumors about that, I was like, oh, like it had to be him.
Shoo-in, right?
Yeah.
And I went in and I did the Mario, it's me.
Yeah.
And
Fucking Chris Pratt.
They said next.
Easy, man.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, it's not. It should have either been the dude from the video game, Charles, whatever the voiceover. He probably was qualified to do Mario's voice. Or you. That's it. Nobody else. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, dude. It's a great movie. It's fun. Every time he talks, I'm like, it should have been special.
I appreciate the compliment. It's nice, but Chris Pratt is a major movie star.
I've heard of him. I know he's been in a couple things.
Might be married to a Kennedy, I think.
You know what I felt on the Mario audition? I felt the same way I felt on the Irishman audition, where they were like, okay, you're Italian, like, where is it? But I felt like I was doing the Mario maybe that I thought they felt they wanted.
Yeah.
But maybe I should have just did this. Hey, it's me, it's Mario. I'm trying to give the whole voice.
That's an interesting thought. Maybe you overdid it.
I overdid it. I felt I wasn't, based on my audition, I felt like I wasn't what they were looking for.
No. It is. I do think it's hugely important to note that Sebastian's saying Mario. Kevin's a Mario guy. It is
Mario. It's
for
a
sure
New York and New Jersey thing.
It's Mario.
It's
Mario.
It's Mario. It's Mario. I don't know. Everybody says that's how he says it. Yeah, he's saying it with an Italian accent. He's from. You also walk around saying it's a me. No, you talk how you talk. He talks how he talks. Mario.
No, you know what for me is I grew up in Chicago, and there's a lot of it's. The R, the Mar.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So you're definitely going to say Mar.
It's a Chicago.
You never had a shot. Yeah.
No, never had a shot going Mario. No.
You had a brain. Good for you.
But you ended up, you got that.
Got Spike,
right?
That was Spike.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The thing was a juggernaut, this Mario.
Holy shit.
Were
you into video games growing up and stuff?
No, not really. I mean,
listen,
I'm older
Mario
you guys,
but
I played Atari, all right? Played Pitfall Harry, Pac-Man. And once it went past Atari, I didn't really. First of all,
you never played Nintendo.
I never did.
Wow.
Never played Nintendo. I picked it back up in college playing Sega Genesis, Madden, but then it got too complicated.
Yeah,
I need a few buttons.
Especially Madden. Madden is like you're like an actual fucking NFL coach. You gotta like run everything with these little. I'm like I just click. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with that, once it gets into the headsets and all that sort of communicating.
That stuff is, I tell this story where I was visiting a buddy and he has 2 kids and then he had some friends over, so they had their 2 kids and they were playing in this. And I'm not one of those like, oh, this is gonna be dangerous to the youth type thing. And they're playing with the fucking Oculuses. And this kid, I just happened to be walking by him. Like he's not announcing it to the room. He's not in a joyous mood. He's just talking to himself. And he's sitting there with the Oculus thing on, and he just mumbles to himself, man, I wish I could stay in the metaverse forever. And I was just like, oh, that's fucking dark, dude.
That's weird, bro.
That is so dark that kids are just like, I wish I could stay in this video game.
This is better than my real life.
Yeah.
My fake mommy and daddy in here are better.
I don't understand how they don't get nauseated or dizzy. I tried playing a video game years ago, and I literally got like, I couldn't stand up after I played the video because there's so much movement.
Well, it's the same thing as though like they can go on roller coasters and spin around 500 times and not.
Can't do that either.
I can't go on. Dude, when my kids are like go on the ride with me, I'm like, ugh. I have to summon the courage of like, remember when you were young, like do it for your kids. I start spinning around.
Oh wow, I got to give you credit that you're even doing it. What they do with me is my wife and the kids go on, and I become the say hello to daddy guy.
Yeah.
So I say hello to daddy, and
it's better than to be the guy going, oh, God, when's it gonna be over? When's it gonna be over?
Yeah.
Your daughter's spinning the teacup, going, "It's fun, Dad." I'm like,
you're holding it, be like, I think this one's broken.
I have absolutely held it before, for sure. Before she knew it spun. We just stay still on this.
I don't think your daughter should see you in a vulnerable position,
probably right,
like that, right?
Yeah,
I feel like if she sees
your
daddy
father like this,
right?
She'd rather see him go, hi, like the princess. Hi.
Daddy's too big and strong to be on that roller coaster.
Holding mom's purse with like some cotton candy. I'll see you when you're off. But yeah, I'm the guy she shouldn't see. Fuck you. Get out of here.
You got a point.
But so I mean, you mentioned it though that Mario's going to be a fucking juggernaut. I'd imagine there's going to be a whole
You would think there'd be
10 of them, right?
There'd be a Spike spinoff.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, this is how my career has gone, right? In regards to like, I always feel like, in basically my life, I was never the popular kid in high school. I didn't play football. I played soccer, right? So it's like all the cheerleaders loved the football players, and then the soccer players had like 4 people in the stands.
Yeah.
So I get this Mario movie. We go to Universal Studios, and they have a whole store dedicated to Super Mario. So I go, okay, kids, come on in. Let's go find Daddy's character, stuffed animal, right? Yeah. They got every character but me on the wall. Right? And I go, really? No Spike? I didn't even get a doll? So not only did I not get Mario, I didn't even get the doll. There's no figurine, no T-shirt, no nothing. So
did kids? Dad's all sold out. That's great.
That's
A lot of Mario left. Spike fucking out the door.
I would have knocked the whole row of Mario and Luigi off and be like, these were the Spikes, but they're all sold out,
gone.
kids.
They're all gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's not.
So maybe the sequel.
Yeah,
Maybe
I was
the
gonna
sequel.
say I would hang on to that though. I'd play Spike and whatever for as long as I could on that one. That's
no
a great
kidding, no
voiceover work. I always think of as like it's got to be great and like easy money, but I imagine it's actually harder than it appears.
It is. I mean, like, you're in this, and I thought, oh, I'm going to do a voiceover. I'm going to go in with the cast, and we're going to be, talking. And Chris Pratt's going to be here, and I'm going to be there. It's that's
in a box.
It's in a box, and then you go ahead and you do the lines, and somebody else says the other lines. But it's to give a character a voice and a life. You got to
need a voice and life. So
you need to like give it your all. So it's not as easy as it looks, but it's not as time consuming as a movie that you have to be on set for.
I have a potentially dumb question, potentially good question. Are they like playing the cartoon or the animation, and you're trying to line up with its mouth?
Yeah, that was a dumb question.
No, you do it, and then later on they match.
Do you know how insanely hard that would be?
That's the smart way.
Hold on, rewind it.
I was pretty sure that wasn't it,
so
but I wasn't
hard.
positive.
Hey, you know what? I got to give you you said it with such confidence that I don't think that's a stupid question. You really believe
Think
it.
about how many times you tried to just do a 10-second TikTok and couldn't match the words.
That's what I thought about the
and
whole
he's doing that for like a whole
I'm like,
movie.
these fucking voice actors are. This is crazy.
Potentially good. I don't think so.
That's a good question to about 15 people out there.
They're like,
I've been wondering the same thing.
Okay, now I got it.
Dude,
So, are you?
that makes sense.
So, no stand up right now?
No.
Or I guess you wrapped up.
Well, I mean,
are you
I'm
back
always
on
doing
the-
stand up. I'm
Right.
always like going to a club.
But like, are you not on tour, right? Why are you?
I just announced a tour today.
Okay, cool.
Which is
the name of
called "It Ain't Right," which I find myself saying a lot nowadays. It ain't right that I have sciatic pain ripping down my right leg right now, and I'm falling apart as a human being. I'm completely collapsing.
What makes you go?
I think you're an in shape guy, no?
I try to be in shape. However, there's a lot of I feel like I had a 10-year run in the NFL. My body, right? That's all I did was run. I ran for quite some time. Like running in the pavement apparently has killed my joints. Having kids at a late age, picking up kids,
it's crazy that like the wear and tear
Wear and
makes perfect sense. Where you're like, yeah, you do this every day for 10 years, and like now that part of your body's affected. But it's like, no, I was just doing like I got a hip thing, and they're like, did you play hockey? I'm like, yeah, when I was in high school.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's a hockey injury. What are you talking about? I'm 35 years
Right.
old.
Yeah.
Hockey injuries don't happen anymore. Like,
Your
it's just the wear and
body's
tear
not
of
supposed
it.
to be doing those things. Think about these ridiculous things we concoct. You put on these pads and rock into each other. It's like your body's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You're the perfect comedian though for like. I think I've always thought about aging appropriately. I think is the most important thing you can do. in this business. Like not trying to be like I'm gonna stay 21. I'm gonna be on TikTok. I want all my fans to stay that age. And like as you go, so goes your material.
Yeah, you got
and now
progress.
it's funny to laugh about your body falling apart and getting old and all that. So you could do this literally until you're dead because you don't have to be the old Sebastian or whatever.
No,
it's just
you kind of
whatever
grow.
Sebastian is.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I guess you guys are younger. Let me get your take on this. Can a 50-year-old grown man pull off wearing Air Jordans? When do you see a guy going, really? Air Jordans? Aren't you a little old for that?
Yeah. So I was late 20s, early 30s. When I got a little bit of money for the first time, I went on a spree and I got all the shoes I never could get and all the shoes I loved when I was a kid, and I wore them for a little while, and by like late early 30s to mid 30s, I was like, I don't think I can.
You can't. So you're saying mid 30s.
So I don't think
50.
I wouldn't.
I
think you. Are we talking about you? Because I feel like it's a different thing when it's like you have. You're a famous person. You're a celebrity. You have a look. You have an outfit that goes with it. I feel like it's a little different when it's like you're just regular dad showing up to like regular stuff, and you have your. You know,
I don't know.
Do you like it?
I have
you
a pair.
Do it?
I have a pair of Air Jordans.
Which ones?
Right. Is the first one.
Okay.
And they're black and red, but they're shiny. Someone gave it to me. They're a nice shoe.
Yeah.
But if I came walking through that door with those shoes on, I would have to think in your head, you would go,
No. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. No.
Who does he think?
I don't
Sebastian, to be clear, you're asking a man in a mesh sweater vest. So you've come to the right place, good sir.
Dude, you're also asking a man who that right there. I wore that to a wedding once.
Wow.
That was one of the worst looks of my life. I forgot my suit. We landed and we had to go right to the wedding, so I stopped off at a fucking Walmart and I had that, and I think the shoes are there, like a pair, like $10.
Oh
yeah, right down there.
Down there.
So we're not exactly the, maybe you shouldn't be asking us,
But I think looking at what you have put together here, if you did that and not a stylist, I bet you can style some Jordans too.
So
I
like
bet you could put
I'm just
a custom shoe that there's a custom sneaker creator named Mosh who's like the best custom guy in the game, and these are like an airbrush pair. This is one of the like a acronym for. This is the Jordan 1. I mean, the Jordan 1 is like a classic, timeless sneaker. If you came in, there's a couple different numbers of Jordans that if you were like, I was gonna be wearing that one, I'd be like, I don't know about that. This is
a standard.
You can wear the Jordan
classic.
1 forever, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, if you like you're putting it on for a look, you're doing an appearance, you're at a party, whatever it is. I think you can pull it off.
I'm going to do, the next time I do an interview or whatnot, or a TV appearance, I'm going to throw a pair of Air Jordans on.
Yeah.
And I just want your opinion on the look when I come out to, let's say I do Kimmel. I come out in Air Jordans. I want you guys to see it and comment.
Okay.
You're describing my dream job.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
Yeah. No, we will, like, you let us know, or we'll just watch all your appearances coming
I'll
up.
let you know. I'm wearing the
Okay.
Jordans. What do you think? And then you let me know. Because I got them. I just don't know if I've reached an age now where it's a little like, okay, you're a dad. You have a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. Let's
Listen, there's going to be some people who say that for sure. Same thing about if you wear a hat. Some of these things, people make fun of me for wearing hoodies. Some of these things, a typical 50-year-old, probably not. You're not a typical 50-year-old.
Okay.
I think it's typical. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't have to see the Kimmel thing. I'm gonna hype you up, dude. I'm gonna be like,
Please do,
fucking
bro.
so
I'm just looking for a hype guy.
Yeah.
Killing
That's
it.
all I'm looking for.
That's what, dude. Go out there again. You know what? It's like the audition. Go out there with the confidence.
That's it.
If you walk out there going like, I gotta hide my shoes so nobody sees it on the couch, you should fucking put your feet up and be like, look at these bad boys.
That's it.
I'm almost
the
positive
guys.
I know the sneakers you're talking about too. Like which ones? They're like, in the sneaker community, people are like, fuck yeah, those are the ones. It's not like you're wearing a bad pair or a lame pair. Like,
Yeah. I think the ones I have are almost like the tuxedo shoe for sneakers.
Yeah, I know the sneaker you're talking about.
the satins,
Okay.
right? Yeah, like they were. I have the pair. They were a very coveted pair. People who got them love them. I'm sure you'll dress them up right. They are the Cadillac, if you will. They're the classy pair.
Okay. I think you guys renewed my confidence.
Let's go.
In the Air Jordan apparel that I have at the.
I think I wouldn't wear it with a suit. Do what you want to do. But I think look at you're a very stylish gentleman. Yeah. You're gonna fucking.
It's just all black here and a jacket.
That's the whole trick.
I know, dude. every time we go on stage, I think we switched up recently, but for the first many times we went on stage, we'd both come out of our hotel rooms in all black. Okay, we look like the waiters tonight, but it's I don't know. I'm not gonna look fat, and it's not too risky of a choice. So we're all good. Yeah. You're always in a jacket though. I feel like on stage especially the way you do your comedy. Don't you get hot?
The reason I was wearing jackets because I have a condition called hyperhidrosis, which is an anxiety where you sweat. Some people sweat from their palms. I sweat from my armpits.
So I used to go through this too.
Okay.
I got Botox and then I did Mira Dry. You ever do that?
No, I've heard about it.
Bro.
Does it work better than Botox?
Absolutely. I used to get Botox 3 times a year. I did Mira Dry 10 years ago. Gone.
So you no longer sweat out of your armpits?
No longer sweat out of my armpits. I mean, there's I used to have, I'd be sitting here, everything else is cool, pit stains. Never again. Never again. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
But I do love, I remember when I used to sweat, there was always the struggle of, should I try to dress cool, light cool, air cool, and not try to sweat, or just accept the fact that I'm going to sweat, put on a jacket, be even hotter, but I'll cover it up.
Yeah, I don't even think I would sweat even when it was cool.
Yeah.
If I had to go on stage in a T-shirt, it's
the nerves, right?
It's the nerves.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm all right, I started wearing jackets, and then it kind of stuck. And, when you wear a jacket and when you're as physical as I am, there's a lot to be said that the jacket kind of moves around and it looks more movement than it actually is. So there is a bit of science behind it for me. But then I just started, when different jackets or some people wear different shoes. And
I
wear different jackets.
Yeah, I like that. I'm telling you, man, Mira Dry.
Mira Dry. Is that a roll-on they do? Is it a laser? What is it?
It's like this. It looks almost like a hair dryer, but rectangular instead of round. And they put it on, and it goes beep, and then they move it to another side, beep, and it burns a little bit, it's hot, but it's generally not painful, and then I think it kills the sweat gland or something like that. It's unbelievable.
Propecia, Mira Dry. What else are you on?
Anything to stop me from looking like I'm a bag of bones. We just did a reality TV show that's airing. We did our own version of Survivor, where we lived in this office and competed in games, stayed in the office 24 hours a day. Something else that I feel like you would probably fucking hate. But it's my boss and all of us did it, so it's probably the most viewed thing we're ever going to do. I show up. I wanted to get my hair cut. Couldn't get an appointment with the girl who cuts my hair, so I come in with a terribly long haircut. I had a sty in my eye that made me look like Quasimodo, and I was playing with my son with this little thing right here. Just goofing around with my son, and I popped this on my forehead for 1 second, pulled it off, and I had a big hickey on my
for the show
forehead. Yeah, so for this whole show, I just am the ugliest I've ever been, ever on camera for the most viewers we've ever had.
So is this on? Is this airing?
Yeah, it's we're plugging our own shit onto him now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, next week, and the following week.
Oh, cool.
It's very entertaining if you want to kill some time.
If you I actually don't really like reality TV, and I'm watching it back because we talk about it on our radio show, and I'm like, this is pretty good.
You will watch your Kimmel appearance or whatever appearance you watch our show.
Yeah. We'll trade. We'll trade a watch.
I love it, bro. Well, Bookie, I'm sure, is going to be just as good as anything else. Well, before you go, so the stand-up world, I feel like you were grinding, forever. And do you now consider? Because when we do all these interviews with all the other guys, Bert and Segura, and the whole circuit, they always talk about Sebastian, and you were in the mix with all those guys, and I feel like it's a funny mix sometimes. Because I feel like it's
graduating classes. You come in, you got your guys that are at the comedy club, and then you kind of grow up together, right? So it was me, Bert Kreischer, this guy, Brett Ernst, Butch Bradley, Steve Byrne. We used to play baseball together and called it Home Run Derby. We used to go to this park in L.A. on a Tuesday because, you know, nobody was working on a Tuesday. And we used to hit, you know, baseballs out of the park. And I used to show up all black, black batting glove. You know, I look the part, but I suck. You know, I'm one of those guys. Like, if we're going to play basketball.
Batting gloves to Home Run Derby?
What?
Batting gloves to Home Run Derby?
A batting glove.
It's a little funny. It's a little funny. Were you wearing cleats and stuff?
The whole thing. Everybody had cleats. This was at a baseball field.
Just to play with a few buddies?
Yeah.
That's a little wacky.
To come dressed as a baseball player?
A little bit, right?
Like,
that's like you know, let's go play football in the backyard. You go with the helmet and pads and everything. It's like we're just fucking around, you know? I
felt like if I looked the part, right, that I would
play good.
Yeah, that's the way I felt. So now that you mention it, bro, maybe it was a little strange.
Those guys are probably like, there's Sebastian again. He's got the stirrup socks and the eye black on, brings a helmet and batting gloves.
The field, yeah. I don't know. I felt like he had I don't know, maybe. But yeah, we used to do that. I mean, and you know, now everybody goes their own way, and you know, we rarely see each other anymore. So,
gone. And,
but. Yeah, it's comedians are fun guys to hang out with. It's just unfortunate that I don't see those guys as much as I want to, just because we're all kind of got our own lives, kids and work and whatnot. But some of those days, some of those days I look back on and go, my God, here's the two idiots, you know, 30 years old playing baseball like we were, you know, 12.
Right. And now, you know, selling out arenas and doing movies, and it's like,
it's crazy.
Things have come up. So. All right, brother. If you got a quick 10 minutes to do a video for us.
Yeah.
But the movie,
Bookie
the show is Bookie.
Bookie's out
on November 30th,
Max,
HBO Max.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yep. And then the It Ain't Right tour tickets on sale now. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man.
All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.